The police radio crackled once, then went silent. She sat alone in her patrol car, snow piling slowly on the windshield, Christmas lights glowing faintly across the empty street. Midnight had passed. Officer Hannah Reyes was staring at her hands, still trembling. Not from the cold, from the call she never expected to hear on Christmas Eve. Unit 12. You're clear for the night. Effective immediately. Clear. That was the word they used when they didn't know what else to say. Her partner was gone, killed 2 hours earlier responding to what was supposed to be a routine call. No backup in time. Just silence, and then a sound that would haunt her forever. Now she was off duty, with no family to go home to, and no place that felt safe. Just a badge that suddenly felt too heavy to wear. Hannah opened the car door and stepped into the snow. She didn't know where she was walking, only that she couldn't sit still anymore. 3 blocks away, in a small house with a crooked porch light, a single dad named Mark was struggling with his own kind of silence. His 6-year-old son, Noah, was asleep on the couch, clutching a half-wrapped toy truck. Mark had tried to make Christmas feel normal. Cookies, a cheap tree, paper snowflakes, taped to the wall. But Norma had left their house 2 years ago. Mark stood at the sink, staring at the dark window, wondering if he'd failed his son again. Then there was a knock. Not loud. Just hesitant. He grabbed the bat he kept by the door and cracked it open. A woman stood there in a police uniform, snow clinging to her hair, her eyes red. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't know where else to go." Mark didn't ask questions. He just stepped aside. Hannah didn't remember walking in, only the warmth hitting her face and the smell of cinnamon. Sebroque. She sank onto the floor and cried the kind of cry that comes from holding everything in for too long. Mark knelt beside her, awkward but present. "You're safe here," he said quietly. "Take all the time you need. If you're still watching, pause for a second and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Stories like this connect people across the world in ways we don't even realize." Hannah eventually told him everything about her partner. The code, and how she'd spent the last 3 Christmases on duty because being busy hurt less than being alone. Mark just listened. Noah stirred awake and pattered into the hallway, rubbing his eyes. "Daddy," he whispered. He looked at Hannah's uniform, then at her face. "Are you a helper?" he asked. Hannah swallowed hard. "I try to be." Noah walked over and placed his toy truck gently in her lap. "You can borrow him," he said. "He helps when I'm sad." That was the moment Hannah felt something she hadn't felt all night. Hope. They sat together, the 3 of them. The snow continued to fall. Mark made hot chocolate. Hannah took off her badge and set it on the table. Hours passed. When the clock struck 2 a.m., Hannah stood. "I should go." Mark shook his head. "You're not imposing. But if you leave, don't leave alone." He handed her a phone number written on a scrap of paper. "Call anytime." Days later, Hannah returned the knock, this time with cookies, then again with a small Christmas ornament shaped like a police badge. Then again, just because weeks turned into months. Hannah returned to duty, but something was different. She smiled more. She stopped sitting alone in her car after shifts. One evening, Hannah brought something with her. Folded flag. "My partner's family didn't want this," she said softly. "They asked me to keep it." She slid it across the table. "I don't know why, but I think it belongs here." That night, he told her the truth about his wife's accident, and she reached across the table and held his hand. "You didn't fail," she said. "You survived." Another Christmas came. This time, the tree was taller, the lights brighter, laughter filled the house. Noah ran around with a badge clipped to his sweater. "I'm gonna be a helper too," he announced proudly. If this story is touching your heart, take a second to like the video and subscribe. It helps stories like this reach the people who need them most. Later that night, when Noah was asleep, Hannah stepped outside with Mark. Snow fell just like the night they met. "I was lost," she said. "And you opened the door." Mark smiled. "You knocked." She laughed quietly and pulled out a small box. "I don't know what the future looks like," she said, "but I know I don't want to face it alone." He didn't answer with words. He answered by pulling her into the warmest hug either of them had felt in years. And on a street that once felt empty and cold, a light stayed on all night long. Sometimes, the miracle isn't that someone saves you, it's that someone lets you in. And that changes everything.